Hello, this is J.R. Miller with Chapter 4, Week 7 for the Self Inventory presentation. Let's get into it. So, I feel like this week's survey was a very, very important one as we touched on multiple relationships, boundaries, and even human differences. Human differences is what makes everyone truly unique and allows everyone to have a different take on the world around them. Boundaries are how we ensure that our practice is ethical and allows us to stop people and ourselves from doing things that may harm other people. Multiple relationships has been something that I've heard for about the entirety of my time in college, as it can be sometimes essential to have that multiple relationship, but in a lot of cases, it can prove to be unethical and it can be a very, very gray topic for us. So, let's talk about this survey. In this week's survey, I didn't really have a lot of difficulty answering questions until I hit the last question, question 15. Quote, multiple relationships can potentially be beneficial to the client. And I felt like this question really made me reflect on any of my expectations and experiences with dual relationships. And after kind of thinking about it, I really found that my answer was inconclusive. So I had worked CPS for a while, and I did know some of my clients because it was the county and the town that I'd grown up in. And because I did know these people, I was able to build rapport very, very easily, and I was able to earn their trust way quicker. But it was at the cost of professionalism and sometimes the relationship entirely. What really bothered me was that if I didn't know a person, but my family knew the person, my family might have to face the consequences of this dual relationship. So while I do think that it's partially beneficial to have that multiple relationship, I think that if there are downsides, those downsides are going to affect us in a major, major way. So from this week, what I've learned is that we can really get caught up in the single story that goes in our mind, and that single story can really change our perspective. Also, that boundaries are very, very important in our practice when it comes to talking with clients. Boundaries is what we use to make sure the client knows what we can and can't do, which connects to last week's lesson about informed consent. We can always rely on our boundaries to help reinforce our stances for any situation that we'd like to avoid, such as multiple relationships. And as for getting caught in a single story, I think it's best that we keep an open mind about what we hear around us. Single stories are just our way of making shortcuts to categorize people, groups, or other things. And as social workers, it's our job to look past these illusions in order to be a very, very ethical helper that we want to be. Uh, and our final topic for this is what the questions made me think. What deeper questions did I think during this exercise? I feel like this exercise for the survey made me reflect on if I truly believe that multiple relationships can be beneficial or not. As mentioned before, they can really be helpful. They can surprisingly be helpful, but very damaging as well to the professional working relationship. I think this is why we really need to limit the amount of multiple relationships that we have in our practice, if we have any. The multiple relationships can damage the agency's reputation and, at worst, hurt the therapist or the client. Thank you very much.